Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of January 29th through February 2nd, where we'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch, stocks in our bullpen, and our shopping list. We'll also talk about dividend payers and option strategies as additional ways that you can generate income while you wait for your top swing trading stocks to set up. So let's get started. Welcome, Brian Moritz. Thank you for joining us in live chat today. Hope you're doing well. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for January 29th through February 2nd. We keep our notes in publicly accessible Google documents, so you can refer back to our notes. Our notes also contain links to bonus video, the tools and resources we use to select our top swing trading stocks to watch, also additional trading strategies, ideas, etc. If you have not already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled When Will the Fed Start Cutting Rates, we would highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains the market analysis, our trading strategies, trade ideas that go into selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch for this week. We store all of our Google documents with our weekly trading game plan notes in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to the notes for part 1 as well as notes from previous weeks, and you can find a direct link to that Google Drive folder also in the description box below. So first we'll go over a couple trade updates, and then we'll look at those charts in Webull. So firstly, we got stopped out of our latest long position in PALL. PALL is an ETF on physical palladium. It's always had a difficulty trading PALL. Gap down through my stop, so I got stopped out on the 22nd. We had entered on the 17th at 85.26. It gapped down through my stop, so I got out at 85 for a small loss. But congratulations to anyone that was any of our fellow BeachBum traders that were able to profit on that trade on PALL. Again, I've had difficulty trading PALL. It's choppy, gaps up, gaps down, so I may stay away from that in the future. Our second trade this week was we entered a long position on TSLY. TSLY is the yield max option income strategy ETF on Tesla. So after Tesla's earnings, we had a fall from grace, and we saw significant plummet on Tesla. We've been watching this for such an opportunity. So on the 25th, we entered on TSLY at 889. As you'll see, if you got our alerts and were more patient than I was, you might have even got a significantly cheaper price. But our goal with this, as you can hear in our the bonus link to our video in the notes, was to hold this, wait for an eventual rebound in Tesla. It looked like it slowly started creeping back up on Friday, but again, their last ex-dividend I think was on the 5th of January, so we want to hold it at least probably through the 5th of February, and as long as Tesla continues to swing back up, we'll hold that TSLY, get some price appreciation, as well as a pretty nice dividend that we'll see in our dividend payers Google Sheet as well. Welcome to Ricky Khan, Easy Mike. Thank you all for joining us in the live chat today. So just a quick reminder, although I don't recommend anyone blindly follow us into or out of trades, it would help you make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career, to be notified when we enter or exit a trade. You can get email notifications, again, as soon as we enter or exit a trade, by joining any level of our Patreon. We also post alerts in a couple channels accessible to our Patreons in our Discord. The first is I also have price alerts set up in Thinkorswim that get triggered and then automatically posted in the Thinkorswim channel under alerts in our Discord. So you can see when my stop got triggered on PALL, it automatically posted to that channel. And then if we follow that up with an actual trade, then I'd reply to that Thinkorswim alert in that channel. If it's a trade not directly related to a Thinkorswim price alert, then I'd post that in the Trade Alerts channel so you can see when we went long on TSLY on the 25th. I post that in the Trade Alerts channel. We also have a relatively new channel under alerts that is accessible to our All Access and VIP Patreons that posts alerts automatically. Our automated system posts alerts when stocks are moving up, breaking out, etc. And you can hear more about those alerts and how those are generated, how you can use those alerts to see sector rotations, movement in short-term daily scalping type trades. You can see again when those stocks are moving up, breaking out, etc. in the alerts channel. And again, that's accessible to our All Access and VIP Patreons. Hopefully we'll do more discussion on those alerts in the future, but we'd love to have your feedback on what else you would like to see in terms of these automatically generated alerts that would help you make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career. So we'd love your feedback in the comments below, in our Discord, etc., on what else you would like to see in terms of alerts to help you make money, succeed in your trading career. So we'll jump over to Webull in a second and look at the charts for those trades. Welcome, Born to Be Free. Thank you for joining us. MD, glad to see you. Sydney Osborne, glad to see a crew of our BeachBum traders in the chat. Okay, so we'll look at the charts for those trades very quickly. Again, PALL. You'll see how choppy that is. So we entered on the 17th at 85.26, out on the 22nd. So you'll see we got in, not quite at that bottom, but relatively close to that bottom. It was, slowly climbing back up. And then right at open on the 22nd, it had a quick gap down through my stop, and then proceeded to, slowly climb back up. Again, this PAL is very choppy, wide bid-ask spread. And again, it's very difficult to trade. Again, I'll probably stay away from that in the future. Tesla, TSLY, again, we got in on the fall after earnings on the 25th at 889. So you see that big drop. It dropped, pre-market. It was dropping. I've, was watching the bid-ask level 2s, and it looked like, that 889, 888 was a pretty large support area. So I got in at 889. You can see it did continue down to 854, so you could have gotten a better price. Again, we're going to hold that, wait for Tesla to swing back up, collect the nice monthly dividends on TSLY while we wait for Tesla to recover. Again, it's, there's still some potential downside, but the upside, it could go up to 1391 or so. So we've got, $5 upside and, maybe 60 cents downside. So, and again, the last ex-dividend date was on the 5th. You see it pays a 56 cent per share dividend, so a pretty high yield. Again, we've discussed these yield maxes, and you can listen to our further discussion in that video via the bonus link in the notes. Okay, now we'll go over our top swing trading stocks to watch list for this week. I'll review any updates to our list, and then we can also look at our watch list Google Sheet. So I'll bring that up as well. So again, just a reminder, we now have our watch list in a Google Sheet, as well as our Bullpen Stocks, our shopping list, and you can get access, 24/7 access to that Google Sheet by joining any level of our Patreon. And you can hear how we use this Google Sheet to watch our top swing trading stocks to watch in the bonus links to the series of videos in our notes. So firstly, another yield max that we've been watching is APLY. This is, again, a monthly dividend payer on Apple. Again, we've been watching that for a little while. Apple had been declining, got some downgrades, etc., but recently rebounded. I do have an order sitting out on that. If we do get a negative reaction to earnings, Apple's got upcoming earnings, or just a down profit taking out of the Magnificent Seven, would take a similar position in Apple. Again, I don't expect Apple to move a whole lot, so be happy to collect that juicy dividend from the APLY Yield Max ETF. Again, you can hear more of our discussions on the Yield Max ETFs via the links to those videos in the notes. We've also got a more detailed review of APLY coming out, and you can access that now via the bonus link to that video in the notes as well. Yes, that's our thought. Easy Mike is right now on some of these Magnificent Seven stocks that do have some potential price appreciation. We think that's a good place to park some cash. Again, you'll hear our strategies. We don't expect to hold these long term, as they do seem to have some level of decay. But again, for a couple months worth of earnings with the potential of price appreciation, we think some of these yield max look attractive. So we're going to try them out, see how they perform. Yesterday, we looked at the technology components of using the screener in our ETFs Google Sheet, which you can also find in our watch list Google Sheet as well under the screeners tab. And we saw there's several areas in the technology components that may offer either short or longer term opportunities. We looked at the FANGs, so the short on the FANGs is FANG-D. We would watch FANG-U for a top resistance point for entry. Couple notes I did on further research on FANG-U. I noticed FANG-U is actually an ETN. It's not an ETF. And so there's some slight differences in how those operate. Also, the holdings, you can see the holdings for FANG-U and via the link to their holdings in the ETF database. And you will note this is why I did some of this further research, is I was wondering why they were holding Twitter. And part of it is the nature of an ETN. It's kind of essentially a bond holding vehicle. And so they must be holding some bonds, holding some shares in Twitter. It's one of their highest holdings. It also contains China tech stocks like Baba and Baidu. And when we saw that stimulus propping up the Chinese, propping up their market, that also helped to propel FANG-U up. And with that stimulus, that was a support for FANG-U. So I wasn't too eager to jump into FANG-D at that time. So I wanted you to be aware of, some of the differences between FANG-U, FANG-D, and some of the other technology component ETFs that we're looking at. So we'll compare the holdings of FANG-U to the holdings of TECL, and you'll see some differences you want to be aware of when playing those stocks, short or long. Another component we've been watching is biotech. Biotech kind of fell off, bounced down out of resistance, been kind of hovering in the middle. But if we get an exuberant run in LABU, we might look at shorting biotech using LABD. Been watching the industrial sector, XLI. It was approaching its high again. So if it does hit its top resistance level, we'd look at shorting industrials with SIJ, which is leveraged short on industrials. And then also semiconductors, again, SOXL is the long, SOXS is the short. Just a quick note is they've announced that SOXS and DRIP, which is two direction ETFs, are going to reverse split on 325. So if you don't want to get into that before the reverse split, you could wait, or just be aware of, if you're going to sell covered calls against a position, you want to take that into account in terms of your 100 share for selling options against your position. And again, you can hear how we use SOXL to find the top, and trade SOXL long, SOXS short for trading semiconductors via the link to that video in our notes. Similarly, the broad technology sector, we like TECS. We are currently long TECS. We went long TECS on the 18th. It looks like it's slowly swinging up. You can hear our thesis of how to use TECL and TECS to trade the broad technology sector via the bonus link to that video in the notes. Also, you might want to compare the holdings of TECL, which again is on the broad XOK technology sector, versus, as we pointed out, the FANG holdings has China stocks and some even non-publicly traded stocks like Twitter. So just be aware of the differences in the holdings in terms of trading these different ETFs. So I hope that helps. Welcome, Becca. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Walter Lyons, glad to see you as well. Hope you all are doing well. And then, as I noted, we're already long on TSLY, although looks like there's still a decent opportunity to get in. If you haven't already got into TSLY, might be something to consider. And again, you can hear our thesis on the Yield Max ETFs and the TSLY via the bonus links to those videos in the notes. I'm going to take USOI off of our watch list. That is the monthly dividend payer on oil. As we saw yesterday, oil is now up above 75, up into the 78s, probably headed to 80. We can always continue to watch, for opportunities. If we get a downturn in oil, we can watch USOI in both our dividend payers and our ETFs Google Sheet. So we can always take that position if we see an opportunity for oil if it drops down below 70 again. Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at our Google Sheet just very briefly, and then we'll look at those charts in Webull as well. Let me grab a quick drink, and then we'll look at those. Okay, so here's our watch list in our watch list Google Sheet. Again, you can use this to watch these stocks in near real time. You can see their risk reward profiles. Again, the white columns are based on Google Finance Functions. So, they're delayed about 20 minutes, but at least you can see the trends, how close they are to support resistance. You can see our price targets, etc. Also, you'll see if their optionality and their ex-dividends or earnings dates, etc. So plenty of information on our watch list stocks that you can again watch in real time using our Google Sheet, and you can get access to that using either our all access or VIP levels of our Patreon. So we can see right now the attractive ones are, APLY, FNGD, TECS are showing, close to their support level. So I jump over to Webull and look at the charts for our watch list in Webull. I'm using the online browser version of Webull, so you can easily jump between various watch lists. So again, using Apple as the determinant for the entry point into APLY. You see, it looks like it's bounced back up. So APLY, I've got a buy-in, I think 1672 or something like, or 18. Got a buy-in somewhere. 1782, I think, is my buy right now. So we can see it's paid a 50-cent dividend on the 5th. It looks like all the yield max is paid on January 5th, so I'd expect the next date to be about February 5th. So we talked about FANG-U using, you can see the FANG-U made a new high very recently. Again, we had both the rotation into the Magnificent Seven, technology exuberance, as well as the China stimulus propelling FANG-U. So again, we'd want to see if that's resistance level is going to hold. Again, remember several of the Magnificent Sevens are going to report this week. Now, if they disappoint, that may be the impetus you need to propel FANG-U down. Good opportunity to get into FANG-D. Talked about biotech. So again, using LABU, as you can see, biotech's just kind of, sitting in the middle of its range right now. But if we did get an exuberant push back up to that high, that might be an opportunity to enter into LABD. We use XLI as the determinant for an entry point into SIJ. So you can see XLI is pushing back up towards that 114.40 level. If it hits that 114.40 level, again, I'd want to short industrials using SIJ. Talked about semiconductors. You can see it hit a new high, bounced off that resistance level, bounced down pretty quickly, gap down. So if you happen to catch that bounce down with SOXS, you've already made a nice profit. Again, you can day trade, scalp any of these pairs profitably if you're nimble enough and more nimble than I am. And again, we talked about TECL. It made a recent new high. Again, we're already long TECS. It's still a little below our entry point, so still opportunity to short broad technology with TECS. It does look like it's starting to slowly swing up. So next we'll look at our bullpen stocks. If you're new to our community, the concept of the bullpen stocks are ones that don't necessarily have a top swing trading stock to watch setup right now, but I've identified that they may potentially in the near future. So we put them in the bullpen, keep an eye on them. If their setup does improve, then we put them in the game, move them up to our top swing trading stocks to watch list. If they run away or break down, then we just take them out of the bullpen. And now we have a bullpen tab in our Google Sheet as well, so I can keep a more real-time look at our bullpen stocks. So again, you can see our bullpen stocks also in our watch list Google Sheet. Keep an eye on who's looking attractive and revisit them at that time. So firstly, just some changes to our bullpen. I'm going to take CPSH out of our bullpen. It kind of already swung up. If anyone happened to catch that one, it's a low float, small cap electronic components. It's pretty choppy. I didn't happen to catch it. Now it looks like it's already kind of swung up. So you can hear more of our due diligence, why we had CPSH in our bullpen, via the link to that quick take video in the notes. We added LXU, which is LSB Industries, recently. And you can hear our due diligence on LSB Industries via the bonus link in the notes as well. Also, I'm keeping an eye on their chart mill profile. I'm finding chart mill, their technical analysis setup scoring helpful. So I'm watching that technical analysis setup in chart mill to see if that improves as part of the determinant possibly for moving them up into our top swing trading stocks to watch list. Mosaic, we added those, kind of watching. It's been declining agricultural inputs. The sentiment's been pretty negative, so we're keeping an eye on that for a swing back up, probably more so headed into the spring. Also talked about REMX, talked about that a little bit yesterday. We looked at it in our ETF Google Sheet. Again, this is an ETF on rare earth and strategic metals. Again, sentiment's been pretty negative in basic materials and lithium, etc. So these have been in decline. If they bottom out and turn back up, we would be looking at taking an opportunity in REMX. Again, you can hear more of our previous analysis on REMX via the link to that video in our notes. You can also find all these videos on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. If it hasn't been released yet, you see the little trophy symbols. That means that hasn't been released yet, but you can access those via the links in the notes, and we hope you'll click the bell icon to be notified when those get released on our YouTube channel. Okay, so I pointed out how you can see the remaining watch list stocks in our bullpen via the bullpen tab in our Google Sheet. Let me grab a quick drink and we'll jump over to Webull and we'll look at the charts for those real quickly. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, you can still get up to 75 free fractional shares of stock by opening and funding your account with 25K or more. If you fund your account with less than 25K, you can get 20 fractional shares of stock, each worth from $3,000 to $3,000. So if you're not already using Webull, you can see we use it for market analysis, due diligence, the majority of our trading. And if you would join with our affiliate link in the description box below, you can get your free fractional shares of stock and also help support our BeachBum trading community, which we greatly appreciate. Again, I'm using the online browser version of Webull. You see I have all my different watch lists set up, so I can just quickly jump over to our bullpen stocks, look at LXU. You can see it kind of bounce back up. So if we do get a little bit of a correction down to this 730 level, that looks pretty attractive. Got plenty of upside up in the 14s, so not quite a double, but pretty nice swing, and it does look like it potentially has bottomed there, got some support. So if that support holds, that'd probably be a good entry point around 730. Talked about Mosaic again, steady decline recently. It's been pretty flat now. So again, we'll see if that 31.33 is a good support level. Looks pretty good. So if we get a slight correction, that might be a good entry point. Again, don't have to rush. Agricultural inputs, I think, will be better as we head more into the spring. Good morning, Douglas PC. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Here's REMX, again, rare earth strategic metals. Again, you see that decline. Looks like it had, a capitulation bottom there. So that looks pretty good. Again, another way to check these is using their technical analysis setup in chart mill. So it looks like it got rejected off of that pivot point, bouncing down. So we'll see if this 47.50 level holds or not. It could continue down. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Didn't have any honorable mentions for this week. So we'll talk about our shopping list. Again, now we have our shopping list stocks in a tab on our Google Sheet. So you can review the stocks I currently have in our shopping list. Again, we always recommend you have your shopping list of stocks ready. Looking for opportunities to buy them when they're of value. If you get an irrational reaction to earnings, again, we're in the heart of earnings season, so you may get some irrational reactions. Some may say, that reaction to Tesla's earnings was maybe not rational. Might be a opportunity to pick up some stocks you wanted to own at a good price. So have your shopping list ready. We just always recommend stay away from zombie stocks, zombie companies, zombie ETFs. If you're not familiar with what those terms are, you can listen to their definition in those videos via the links in our notes. Again, none of this should be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All of our content should be considered for education and entertainment purposes only. So again, now you can watch, our shopping list stocks in the shop list tab in our Google Sheet. And again, these are ones that we've identified in the past that we're interested in. We're watching Disney. I thought this was interesting. IBM had positive earnings. They're actually making some money with their consulting with AI. But on Friday, it had a $3 decline. So that's probably some profit taking after the bounce in their earnings. So DNN we watch for uranium. JEPI and JEPQ, which we can also see in our dividend payers Google Sheet. Those are ones we have parked cash if the risk reward profile looks good. We're long in land already, but those are some REITs, and we're going to talk about some potential additional REITs that we're watching. So other REITs we like: LTC, STAG, MP Materials. This is actually in that REMX ETF, so I'd probably prefer the REMX ETF, but we do watch MP Materials for opportunities as well, so you can see those stocks in our shopping list. Okay, next we want to talk about dividend payers. I've got some changes, some updates, but if there's anyone in the chat who has a particular dividend payer you'd like to take a look at, you could throw those up in the chat. I'll talk about our updates briefly, and then again we can look at any other dividend payers. Again, we think this is a great strategy to park some cash while you're waiting for your top swing trading stocks to set up. And again, you can get 24/7 access to our dividend payers Google Sheet by joining our Patreon at the All Access or VIP level. And again, you can use our dividend payers Google Sheet to create your own schedule of dividend payers that meets your income needs and your risk reward profile. So again, you can access that 24/7 by joining our Patreon at the All Access or VIP level. Okay, last week, the Ricky Khan talked about NVIDIA, NVDY. This is, again, another one of the Yield Max ETFs on NVIDIA. So he asked us to add that to our main dividend payers sheet. So we have added NVDY to our main dividend payers sheet. So you can now see the dividend payment information and risk reward profile, etc. for NVDY in our main dividend payers Google Sheet. And as you can see, as most of the yield maxes, it's got a pretty nice yield. You can see it's performed well for this year, as NVIDIA has. So not a whole lot of price appreciation left. So it's pretty close to its resistance level, but some NVIDIA did retrace briefly, some on late last week. So again, you can see the dividend payment information, the potential yield, the potential price appreciation opportunities, and NBDY in our main dividend payer sheet. Now, there's Ricky gone. Good. Well, I hope that all helps. So nextly, I want to talk about several additional REITs that I heard about from Joseph Hogue, and I've added these, done the research on these additional REITs to see if they might be something that we might be interested in. So I've added those in the ad sheet on our dividend payers Google sheet. So I've got 3 new REITs to look at. One is GLPI, which is a gaming and leisure property. So they invest in like casinos and things like that. And it's a REIT based on that. Also EQIX, which is a kind of a data center REIT, very similar to DLR. So we want to look at that one and compare it to DLR. Also another medical REIT, kind of like LTC and MPW, is GMRE, Global Medical REIT. So again, another potential candidate to look at, similar to LTC and MPW. So let me look at those very quickly in the ad sheet. So right now, if you go to the bottom of the ad sheet, you can see our research on those 3. So here's GLPI. You can see it pays a 73-cent dividend. So it's got a nominal yield a little under 7%. You can see its performance, though. It's been pretty negative for the year. So that ends up with a net yield of negative. So you can also see the risk reward isn't, all that attractive. So it doesn't have a whole lot of potential price appreciation, has underperformed significantly for this year. So currently it's a little above support. So the risk reward isn't great, really. So I didn't really find that all that attractive. I mean, it does have some potential price appreciation. So if you got that price appreciation, it could yield, almost 9%. But again, it's underperformed. It's only got a nominal yield of 7%. So I didn't find that all that attractive right now. EQIX, this is that REIT on data centers. This one looks pretty good. It pays a $4.24 quarterly. So it's got a nominal yield. Its performance was pretty good this year, so 12.67 positive performance this year. So it gives a net yield of over 14%. So that's pretty attractive. But you can see it's pretty high right now. It's at 810. Resistance at 820, 52-week high at 826. So the question one would ask oneself is, do you expect it to continue to perform and to continue to grow at this, 12% going forward? I like the theme, additional data centers for AI, etc. So if you believe it will continue to perform at this level, again, it's got a pretty nice net yield. GMRE, this other medical center REIT, pays a 21-cent quarterly dividend. So it's only got a 4% net yield, as it's also had a negative performance for this year. Does have some price appreciation. Again, it's been declining. So it's, got some potential price appreciation, which would give it a, an adjusted yield of 15%. So if you think that the medical REITs have hit bottom, and you can see where the support levels still got some room to fall. So the risk rewards, not great right now. It's higher risk than reward. So again, not one that I'd be interested in. I think LTC is significantly better. Also, if we look at DLR in our main sheet and compare it to EQIX. So here's DLR, another data center REIT. You can see it pays a 122 dividend. You can see it's, I look at their performance. Let's see what the performance on DLR was. So it's at a 26% compared to EQIX, which is 12%. So DLR has outperformed even better. So again, it's got a potential net yield of 30%. It's got potential upside. So again, still more risk than reward, but its risk-reward profile is over 2. So again, I still like DLR better than EQIX. I like LTC better than that other medical property. If we look at LTC, see its risk-reward profile almost a 2, over 2 for 52-week, and it's got a positive net yield. So let me know if you have any experience with any of these additional REITs, GLPI, EQIX, GMRI. What do you think of those? Let us know in the comments in our Discord, etc. Or if you have any additional dividend payers you'd like us to take a look at. Again, we can do that research and see if they warrant adding, like Ricky Khan asked for NVDY. Similarly, a new one that the YieldMax group has just released is this YMAX, and this is a fund of funds. So essentially they've created an ETF that holds their other YieldMax ETFs. It's pretty brand new, but I thought I'd point that out to you. Keep an eye on it. So I put it in the ad tab. Again, we'll look at their FinBiz profile. You can see it's relatively new. So it's only been around, for a very short time. It's not optionable. Again, we don't have much performance because it's very new. If we look at their holdings, so I put the link also in our Google Sheet to their holdings in the ETF database. So if we go to their holdings, you can see they hold their other YieldMax ETFs. So Netflix, AMD, and NVDY, APLY, etc. So you can see what the weighting of the various other YieldMax holdings are via that link. So it'll be interesting. I think it warrants watching, see how that performs versus their individual YieldMax. But again, if possibly you wanted to just take a broad swath at all the different YieldMaxes rather than going to individual ones like APLY and TSLY and NVDY, you might try the YMAX. Again, it doesn't have dividend paying information, etc. We don't have a lot of information on it yet. So it's hard to gauge how it's going to perform, but we'll keep an eye on it and see if that's another one that might be interesting in the future. So I hope that all helps. So again, if you'd like us to do research on any others, just let us know in the comments in our Discord, etc. We can do that research and see if they warrant adding to our Google Sheet. Also, if you'd like to hear more about how we develop this Google Sheet, how you can use it to develop your own schedule of dividend payers, we have a whole series of videos on how to find the best dividend stocks that you can access via that link in our notes and also find on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. Okay, if I missed your dividend payer that you wanted to take a look at, Please throw that back up in the chat. Just very briefly, we can see the data for APLY. So here's APLY. Again, 56-cent monthly. You can see it's got a nice potential net yield of almost 18%, nominal of 27%. So you can see the risk reward profile looks good. So that's why we like APLY. Again, you can see TSLY. Again, it's 56 cents. Got a lot of potential upside. Got price appreciation upside, so that's why we went long on TSLY. So again, you can see the risk reward profile, dividend payment information again for TSLY as well. Okay, let me grab a quick drink and we'll talk about our option strategies. Okay, we've got a couple option strategies we also use to generate income while we wait for our top swing trading stocks to set up. We sell covered calls against our position when they're going up, buy them back when they're going down. We sell puts against stocks going down, buy them back when they're going back up. And we use our puts ROIC Google Sheet to identify potential opportunities to sell or buy back puts. So you can also get access to that puts ROIC Google Sheet by joining our Patreon at the All Access or VIP level. Again, the VIX have been pretty low, so we haven't identified a whole lot of opportunities to sell puts, but the VIX is swinging back up slowly, so there may be opportunities upcoming. If you'd like to hear about more how we developed these option strategies, this puts ROIC Google Sheet, how we use it to generate income with puts, we've got this whole series of videos on option strategies for beginners with examples that you can access via the link in the notes. We also have a whole playlist of videos on options, how you can use options to make money trading. So you can access that options playlist on our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel. If I look at our main puts ROIC Google Sheet, again, there isn't really anything that has an ROIC of 5% or more, and I'm making 5%, in the money market. My brokerage just letting the cash sit there, so I'm not terribly interested in anything that's under 5%. Some of these potentially, if they continue to rise, might have a little bit better ROIC, but again, the premiums are still pretty low. Keeping an eye, there may be some potential, to sell on Tesla, but again, the puts have been going up, but the premium's still pretty low right now. Couple I did identify, you can see Albemarle's been declining, but again, the ROIC is pretty low. I do have a sell out on United Airlines, but I have it at a higher price. So I identified a resistance level at about 490. So I've got to sell out at 490. That'll give me a 6.7% ROI, but we can see, UAL's got some distance. It had gone up. Looks like it declined a little bit on Friday. We'll see if we can get that that option to sell. Again, there isn't a whole lot, over 5% at their current prices. You can see in our Google Sheet, though, if, some of these approach their 52-week highs, they might be pretty attractive. So match, keeping an eye on that, although I expect that to go up into Valentine's Day. PAYC, I've been keeping an eye on. So again, you can see the ones over 5% that I'm keeping an eye on, and our automated systems collect this data, update these spreadsheets at the end of each day, and then I can spin through it. And then I also use this option seller ROI tool to identify any new ones that we want to research as potential candidates for making money selling and buying back puts. So I hope that all helps. If there's anything you want us to add to our systems to collect the options data, do the research on for potentially selling puts, please let us know again in the comments below in our Discord or via any of our social media. Okay. I had a question that I want to talk about. And then if we have some time, we'll continue our series on how to trade biotech stocks. So let me grab a quick drink and see if I can address Balin 10X's question about eCore. Okay, Balin 10X asked on our in a comment to our video on CPS Technologies, any thoughts on ElectroCore, ticker symbol eCore? So I want to take a look at eCore and FinViz. Just a quick reminder, you can find links to all of our tools and resources in the links section on our homepage. You can also find all the links to our social media profiles. So if you have a question or you'd like us to do research due diligence on any stocks, you can always also contact us via the links to our social media on our homepage, beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. And again, all of our trading tools and resources in the link section there as well. So here's eCore. So here's the FinViz profile for eCore. It's a medical device, healthcare medical device company. You can see it popped up recently. So it looks like it bounced off that lower support level. Looks like there's some news, some catalyst. We look at their data in FinViz, though, first thing that jumps out at me, like a lot of medical companies, biotechs are losing money. They don't have high debt, so that's positive. It's not optionable. Very low float, 4,000 shares. I believe they probably did reverse splits in the past. I did actually have these guys in our database back from the pandemic times, and I had them tagged as a pandemic stock. Apparently they had some positive news during the pandemic and got some pops, but their prices were much lower, so I suspect they've done some significant reverse splits. We look at their profile real quickly. Non-invasive vagus nerve stimulation therapy, bioelectric medical therapy. They've been around since 2005. We look at their financials, though. Again, they're losing a lot of money. EPS been negative. EBITDA has been negative. Look at their quarterly. So again, losing a lot of money. Again, I would treat these guys as, a biotech stock as well. And, we'd want to do our analysis on their quarter's cash flow positive, see how long they've got runway before they run out of money, see what their news was that was positive. So there's the jump. So it looks like an analyst day, got a positive jump on an analyst day. So they must have said something, positive. Look at their weekly. Okay, so it's, been long-term decline in general. Looks like it's, relatively high. Last time it was April 21st of 23. It was at 750. Right now it's at 744. So I'd expect that to be resistance. 1050. So not a whole lot of upside in the past couple of years. And again, I'd want to know what their cash runway is. Are they going to run out of cash? Are they going to do an offering? Potentially risk on this positive news. I would watch to see if they have a shelf offering already sitting there, and watch out. Now, if you're short-term trading on this news, again, just protect your profits. Again, they had a nice run up. Looks like it hit some resistance at that, just above that 750 level. Might be rejecting. So again, not something I would be interested in swinging anytime soon. And again, I'd want to know what their cash runway was. So that's my views. We can look at them in Chartmill real quick as well. So I've also got the link to Chartmill on our homepage. And I would recommend also using Chartmill to do your due diligence. We see it's got a positive, technical analysis setup because it's run up. Got a pretty poor fundamental setup. So let's look at their fundamentals. 3 out of 10. Doing okay. Concerns on profitability. Good growth. So, kind of a growth stock. Valuation's kind of poor, so it's high. Profitability's poor. Health is not bad. So again, you can dig into more details. Again, profitability's not good. So again, you can dig into their details in their chart profile. Health isn't very good. Has more shares outstanding, so they've probably done some offerings. Got a very negative Alt-Z, so that says they're at risk of bankruptcy. So again, not something I would want to hold for any length of time at this point, and you can dig into the details also using their chart profile. So Bellin 10X, I hope that answers the question, and I hope that all helps. Okay, in the last couple minutes, I'm not going to have time to go into details to continue our series on how to trade biotech stocks for beginners, but we have the bonus links to our previous discussions available in the notes. I also did a video on what are all the potential catalysts for a biotech stock. So I asked ChatGPT this question: what are all the potential catalysts for a biotech stocks? Saved me all the time of having to come up with those, to remember all those potential catalysts and write them down. So I put that into a video, and you can listen to that via the bonus link in the notes. We'll be releasing that, in the near future as well. And then we can I'll add some commentary from our experience specifically related to those potential catalysts that have already been identified by ChatGPT. So we'll go into more detail about those catalysts. Also, I'm speculating that I think I'm talking about the specific risks and risk factors of biotech stocks may be warranted and may be of value to our BeachBum trading community. So I'd love to hear your feedback on that, as well as, what else would you like to talk about in terms of how to trade biotech stocks. So again, last week we produced a Google Sheet that helps you identify and calculate the quarter's cash flow positive, and that is now available to our All Access and VIP Patreons. So you can use that again to calculate their quarter's cash flow positive. It also highlights, whether they're quote safe versus quote danger in red or green, or neutral. So I'd also love your feedback on what else you would like to see in a Google Sheet for doing biotech due diligence. So please let me know what you'd like to see as further enhancements to that Google Sheet. So unless anyone has any last-minute questions, again, you can always put your questions in the comments. You can always contact us in our Discord. Our Discord's free to join, other than the few channels that I've noted that were Patreon-only channels. You can find a free invite to our Discord in the description box below. Also, you can find it in the links section on our homepage. You can also find links to all our social media accounts, so you can, contact us any of those ways. If you'd like us, if you have any questions, have a stock you want us to look at, have a topic you'd like us to cover in our weekly trading game plans, etc. We'd also love your feedback on what we can do to improve our weekly trading game plan, live streams, any of our videos, any of our tools, our Google Sheets, etc. Our community to add more value for all of our BeachBum traders. So please let us know what we can do to continue to help you make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career. We hope that you like this content. Please smash the like, thumbs up button on our videos. Help us try to get the YouTube algorithm to share our content with more traders around the world. Help us continue to build our BeachBum trading community. And please directly share our content and our invites, etc. With your fellow traders. Let's continue to work together to build and improve our BeachBum trading community for the mutual benefit of all of our BeachBum traders. So we hope this all helps. And thank you again for joining us for our weekly trading game plans. And we hope you have good luck and have a great trading week.